For this Madden Tips breakdown, we're going to take a look at a blitz setup out of the Big Nickel Bear. The name of the defense that we're going to show here is called Storm Red, and what we're looking to do is bring some pressure either from an inside linebacker or we're looking to get pressure from an outside defender. So let's go and just take a look at it. And as you can see on your screen here, this is a invert cover 2 type defense, and what I mean by that is the corners on the outside, rather than playing flat coverage, which they would normally do in a cover 2 type defense or traditional, instead these guys actually end up playing 2 deep defense, as you can see, or 2 deep coverage, as you can see on your screen. So you're going to see both of these guys, as I pointed out, rather than dropping here or covering the flats, such as what you see here on your screen, what they're going to do here is they're actually going to drop back in deep zones here to cover the deep halves of the field, such as what you're seeing on your screen. And then underneath of them, there's going to be 3 defenders that are going to drop back in hook zones. So you're actually going to have these 3 defenders. You're going to have this linebacker here, which is the right outside linebacker. And then you're going to have a safety. In this case, it's going to be the free safety playing a hook zone. And you're also going to have the left outside linebacker dropping back in hook zone in that area. So you have 5 defenders that are going to be dropping back in some type of pass coverage, 3 underneath and then 2 over the top. So those are the 5 defenders that are going to be dropping back in zone coverage. And then you end up having 6 defenders that are going to rush the quarterback, as you can see on your screen as I'm telestrating them there. You have these 6 defenders that are coming after the quarterback. Now, as you look towards the outside, what you're going to notice here is you got 2 defenders that are blitzing from the outside. These 2 defensive backs are going to be coming off the edge, applying the pressure. Now, if you were to run this defense as is, one of those guys are going to end up getting pressure. In this case, it's going to come from one of those 2. More than likely, it's going to end up coming from the left cornerback or left inside defensive back there. But just keep that in mind. That's not always the case. It really depends on how the offensive line blocks. So what we want to do here is get these guys closer to make sure that they get a little bit quicker as far as getting pressure on the quarterback. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show it to you. Is we're actually going to go ahead and use base align. So let's go ahead and do that. As you can see on your screen here, we're going to use base align. What that's going to do here is it's going to bring these 2 corners or these 2 inside defensive backs further inside. So that way their blitz angles are now, as you look at your screen there, are closer towards the quarterback. So they don't have to rush the quarterback from as far out. Now, you can run this defense as is, and you're still going to get that type of pressure. More than likely, as I said before, as you're looking at your screen, the defender's going to get the pressure. With this setup would probably be this defender right here. However, we're going to make another adjustment here to increase our chances of having better coverage. So let's go ahead and bring him to the inside. And then what we want to do is we're actually going to re-hot route him to drop back in some type of zone coverage. In this case, we're going to have him drop back in the deep zone. Now, if you want to, you can have him do as we're showing here on the screen here. We can have him drop back in this deep zone. We could have him drop to the curl to the flat if we wanted to. We could have him go cover the flat coverage. Or if we wanted to, we could have them simply drop back into a hook zone. So any one of those type of coverages is fine. For us, we are going to go ahead and have him drop back in a deep zone. So as you can see on your screen there. Now, one of the things you want to do here, and this is something that I pointed out in some of the previous blitzes that I've shown, is that you're going to want to go ahead and hold down the right trigger to go ahead and allow yourself to get this pressure on the quarterback. So as you're looking on your screen, when I say hold down that right trigger, you're going to want to hold down this trigger right here as you're looking at. This is actually the right trigger on the Xbox One controller. So you're going to want to hold down that trigger as you're going to get the setup. Now you can always hold down the left one as well and get the same results, but we prefer to do the right one to get this to work. And so the idea of this is once the ball is snapped, what's going to end up happening here, what we're hoping for, is that the left tackle, we're looking for him to go ahead and look to block this guy right here, which is the guy that we're in control of. And then that's going to shift the way or change the way the offensive line pass protects, allowing one of these 2 other defenders to get pressure on the quarterback. We're either going to get pressure coming from this guy right here, which is inside linebacker, may shoot through the A gap, or we're going to look to get pressure coming from this guy, which is that defensive back to the right side of the offensive line to apply the pressure. Sometimes both of them may end up getting in and not get blocked at all. Sometimes you actually end up getting 2 guys coming in and getting the pressure. But with this setup, you're going to at least get one of them coming in. Now keep in mind, this is with all 5 receivers going out. This is actually an empty set, as you can see on your screen. So anytime you see this type of formation, you can pretty much guarantee all 5 are going out, and you should really get some type of pressure on the quarterback. Now, one of the things you might be looking at this thinking, man, those slot receivers don't look covered. and they're not, at least initially. So if you were to look at these two slot receivers right here and right here, maybe your opponent could throw a quick pass, maybe you couldn't. But one of the things would happen here is these defenders here who are playing hook zones would drop out and take that away possibly. So they try to throw a quick pass. There's a good chance that these guys might pick that off. Now, of course, if these receivers are running flat routes over here, then that would be an issue because those guys would probably be open for a quick pass to the flats. But as is, in the way that we're running this play, those guys aren't going to do that. So let's go ahead and continue on with this and just take a look at it, and you'll see the pressure coming up the gut from that linebacker. And as you look at it, if we rewind it just a little bit here, let's go back here about right here. I want to show you something here on this. You can see right here as you're looking at your screen, you can see, in fact, that the left tackle, he's looking to block here, which is that defender that we're in control of, allowing this guy to have a clean shot at the quarterback and get some pressure on the quarterback up the gut. And that's the idea of this. And then as you can see, once he gets in there, we drop our guy back. Now, as you look down, deep down that middle of the field, I probably should have released this defender a little bit quicker. But you can see right here, here he is. But deep down the field, if your opponent saw this, there's a possible chance of a big deep pass play because this defender, or excuse me, this receiver is open deep down the middle. But that's the chances you take when you do a blitz like this, and you're just hoping that you can get to the pressure before he has a chance to make that throw. All right, let's go and continue on with this. I want to show you one other thing with this particular defense as you look at it. And one of the other things about this particular defense is it doesn't always come from that inside linebacker. As I already pointed out, it may come from one of those outside defenders. In this case, the pressure is actually going to come from the outside from this defender here. On this one we're about to show with the exact same setup, because the pressure is going to come off the edge rather than from the middle linebacker. So you're going to end up getting pressure off from that defensive back who plays the inside there. So you'll see him come as he comes in and puts that pressure on the quarterback. And again, you can see we got quick pressure on the quarterback, and we're able to get to him and get a sack. And hopefully he doesn't see that deep receiver deep down the middle of the field there. But as you can see, this is a nice setup, and it does provide some decent pass coverages, and yet it allows you to get the pressure on the quarterback. And you, rather than rushing 6 defenders, which is by default of this particular set, or this particular play, which is called Storm Red, we go from having 6 defenders rushing the quarterback to just having 5 defenders rushing the quarterback, and we end up having 6 defenders dropping back in pass coverage. So the name of this play is called Big Nickel Bear Storm Red.